How's it going, guys? It's Rafi from Beyond the Huddle, and welcome to this week's Bitcoin forecast. As always, I'll start off by talking to you guys about the spot exchange sentiment. That's our SMI. Then we'll move on to the COT to talk about what the asset managers have been up to this past week, and then we'll wrap it up with some volume and price using our BTH volume profile. So with that being said, let's get started. Okay, so getting started, real quick, right before I touch into the SMI, I just want to mention that we did have this model right here in mind, which was obviously hitting the previous week's value or low, and that's what we talked about in last week's video. Then a move lower, then a slight move higher, maybe a retracement, and then a move higher. Now, of course, what we wanted to see was the fact that this right here was red, and then during this move lower right here that we were expecting, we wanted the market to go into strong accumulation, and then that would have given us the green light to go ahead and be buyers. And that's on the long term, because you want to make sure that you're trading in line with the long-term players. If the short-term players right here are the ones that turn the market into strong accumulation, that is a buy, but it would be a short-term buy. So as you can see right here, we did indeed get that drop that I was expecting right into the monthly support level right here. Now the problem was that when that got hit, we did not see strong accumulation on either the long term or the short term, right? So you can see right here during this drop, we printed 2 bars of accumulation in the long term, and we printed a few more bars, and this ones were actually very close to going strong accumulation right here, and very close to going strong accumulation here. Now, when I made the video on Monday and I was explaining this to the BTH Premium members, because we like to go over that there and then see if there's any altcoins that we would potentially like to get in on. My whole premise was that I could have bought, because, and I'll show you guys a little bit later, based on our value areas and stuff, right? There were some buy signals there, but it would have been a very aggressive entry if I wanted to get into the market this week, because the market, again, although it got really close here in the short term, it never actually printed strong accumulation, and in the long term, it never got even close, right? So you can see right here, this is not quite close to the strong accumulation mark. So yeah, it did move the market, and the idea was that we have some resistance levels up here, if you guys can imagine this being the premium in price. So we could have expected one more move higher, and right now we can see that's exactly what happened. And then, but I didn't expect anything more than maybe at the highest a 6%, 5 to 6% move on Bitcoin before you'd hit some strong resistance, which is our quarterly level. And again, I'll explain that a little bit later in the volume and price part of the video. But yeah, essentially, I just wasn't very comfortable trying to squeeze out that little bit of the market, considering that when we had this drop here, we didn't actually hit strong accumulation. And as you guys are going to see in just a few seconds here for the COT, it actually got a little bit more bearish. So, that wasn't in my favor either. So if I want to get very aggressive and not wait for strong accumulation in this market, first of all, I'm never going full risk. And second of all, without strong accumulation. And second of all, I would at least have wanted the COT to printed some positive numbers, but it didn't. Okay, so as you can see right now, we are back to distribution, and that was one of the reasons, right? If this one didn't even get close to strong accumulation, by the time the market goes back up again, I'm assuming, and now I got the confirmation that the long-term players was going to, or they were going to aggressively sell into that move, and look at that, we can see it right there. They did indeed start selling. It's cooled off maybe a little bit. We're back to neutral in that last bar that just printed, but yeah, nonetheless, not exactly what I wanted to see to be a confident buyer of this market right now. So with that being said, guys, again, right now we're basically in distribution for the long term and neutral in the short term. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, to see when it turns back into strong accumulation. So let's move on to the COT, which had some very interesting numbers this past week, and we'll dive into that right now. So let's get to it. Okay, so taking a look here at the COT, that's the Commitment of Traders report, and we can see right here that the asset managers for the CME contracts here, they have actually declined 564 contracts on the long side. Now, when I saw this, I was like, oh man, something bad's gonna happen, right? I obviously was not, in love with this, and especially when you see the shorts right now, look at that, they actually increased 172. Now I know it sounds quite bad. Then we come here and then we actually notice that, oh, it only went from 91% to 88%. Okay, so then that kind of cooled me off a little bit, but that's not the full insight that you can gather from this data. So then we have to go into our indicator and we do know that we're still above 80% long. That's exactly what we want to do, stay above that long right there. But the key is, how did the shorts manage to go around their average, okay? And what we can see here is that the shorts just now went a tiny bit above their average. You can see right here, well, actually a good amount above their average. But I have these boxes here, and what I wanted to show you guys was that the way we like to use the CLT data is all about consecutive data, okay? So it's not just 1 week's data that makes your bias, right? Because you can always get those knee-jerk reaction rearrangement of portfolios that they get, and then that's what causes the market to, you see right here, it goes down, up, down, up, down. But you have to remember that you were coming from a huge decline in positions from 1,000 down to 600, right? So you got to remember the same thing here, right? Even though it might be consolidating in the positions week by week, right? They still are making lower lows a little bit, okay? So you can see right here how they had a nice decline in the short positions, but then all of a sudden they had a retracement back to the average, and then it went back above the average. Now while that happened, the market was still in an uptrend, but then it was in a tinier consolidation, okay? So see, it was still making higher lows and it ended up making higher highs. But for that time being, they ended up going in consolidation. And that's what I was trying to tell you guys just now in the SMI, right? For the market exchange, for the spot exchange sentiment, I didn't really want to get too aggressive in buying, because I noticed that on Friday the data came out that they had increased above shorts, right, above the average, and the SMI never actually hit strong accumulation. So does that mean that this is a sell the rally type of thing right now, and then we're looking for another aggressive move lower? Yeah, potentially. But again, I'm still long-term bullish because they're percentage long. You can see right here again a reduction in shorts, but then look what happened in 1 week. 1 or 2 weeks right here, they started increasing their shorts, and that led to 2 weeks of down move, and even on this third week here, a big wick down, and then that made the low. So again, just because they increase the shorts above the average right now doesn't mean that next week they can't just decline it, right? And that's what I'm interested in. So if they increase it this week, I'm paying very close attention to next week to see, are they going to increase again? That'd be very bearish by then. Or are they going to reduce them again? Right? Again, because they increased it, that gave us these past 2 weeks of bearishness. But here's another thing that we got to look at, the longs, right? So again, there's a huge decline in longs, but then when you look at the average, you realize that you're still above it. So yeah, it might have gone down by 564, but we're not worried yet. Okay, we're still above the average. We're still looking pretty good. Just some more painful consolidative type of price action, right? Which makes sense. I mean, we've talked about this in the price, and again, I'll go over it in just a little bit, but we're stuck within our value area high and our value area low. So if we can't break outside of those, then we don't really expect price to go anywhere. And right here, we can see that the asset managers are the ones, with the way they're rearranging their positions all the time by reducing below the average of shorts or increasing above the average of shorts, they're keeping price within this range, right? And that's kind of what makes trading, at least on a short-term basis, a little aggravating, because you might get lost in all these weekly up and downs, up and downs, up and downs. So yeah, with that being said, guys, that's what I got for the CLT. Let's move on to the price to wrap this video up. Again, I'm still long-term bullish because we're still above 80%. The longs are still above the average. We just have to see what these shorts are going to do next week. So be very, very cautious right now. And yeah, let's move on to the price. Okay guys, so to wrap this video up, let's go ahead and look at our price action levels. And basically I'm just going to get rid of everything that we've had before, just so we can get new fresh levels. But the idea was, and this is what I'll keep telling you, right, we're stuck between this monthly value area high here and this monthly value area low. okay? And that also happens to be the quarterly, which is my white dotted lines, okay? So I have my quarterly value areas and my monthly value areas, okay? So because we're within that, I expect the quarterly candle at the moment and the monthly candle, which is, it's almost over right now, right? Because we're already, 20 days into the month of April. So I expect the monthly candle to consolidate, and that's exactly what it's been doing. So if I expect the monthly to consolidate, then the weekly candle should look the same, right? Between a certain range, they're going to just move up and down, up and down. Now, again, the interesting part was when we had this move down right here, right into our support level. So that is the previous month's POC right there. Again, the SMI, right, our spot exchange sentiment, never actually hit strong accumulation. Trust me, I wanted to buy it the minute we went back above this, previous week's value or low, because that's exactly what my strategy says, right? You hit your support level, then you go back above your value area, and then that makes you a buyer. So, let's make this green right here. So that was one level, and obviously when you went above this one, then the next target would have been the value area high, and we consolidated on it for a little bit. And again, I hate to keep going, fractal. So I'm not going to go into the daily chart, but essentially this is the important level right now, right? As long as you stay above this, the market has the propensity, right? It has the opportunity to keep moving higher, but I won't be involved in it because the SMI is in distribution. I am completely happy. Not happy, but I'm completely fine with, letting the market run away as it hits distribution and not be involved in it. You guys already saw what happened here when the market hit distribution somewhere on March, somewhere on here. Again, you already should have had your positions from here, and then when the market started distributing, that was your time to, there it is, distribute those positions, right? Figure out when it was actually going to make a high, so then you can get out of the market. So although price is telling me, yes, be a buyer, the sentiment is telling me, because I didn't get in here, because the sentiment wasn't strong enough, I'm just not interested in the market at the moment. But for anyone that is interested in the market, that's what I'm saying right here. These resistance levels, let's make that red. That's our monthly and quarterly. So remember that the market has the opportunity to keep ranging between these zones until it breaks one of them. And that should be your important levels. So I'm going to draw this out right here. Oops. And then we're going to move this one down here. And this is your swing high, swing low. And right now, whoa. There we go. So that would be your range, right? From this swing high to this swing low, and that would be your resistance quarterly and monthly. And at the weekly, for now, you're bull trending. But again, I want it to go below this, and then maybe even go below this one to see if the SMI can turn into aggressive buying, aggressive accumulation, strong accumulation, so then I can buy as well. Okay, so for the time being, I'm not in the market, and I'm just sitting back waiting for my opportunity. Now, again, you can always FOMO into these trades, but I'd rather not buy when it's distribution. Again, right here, you could have bought. You could argue that you want it to be a bit aggressive. It was accumulation, right? Buying during accumulation is definitely a lot better than back here trying to chase a trend, buying in distribution. But like I said, based on the way the COT is looking, I'd rather wait for Friday. So in 2 more days, I'd rather wait for that confirmation to see how those positions look. Are they going to decrease their shorts again below the average, or are they going to keep increasing them? If they keep increasing them, like I said earlier, very, very bearish scenario there, and it's not something that I would like. So keep an eye out for these 2 level guys. You have the value or high, and then after that, you'd have the value or low of the week. And if it keeps going higher, you'd have the value or high of the month and the quarter. Again, I would not expect this market to be back bullish until you can cross back above this. So with that being said, guys, have a great day. Stick around tomorrow for Misha's video on Ethereum and the total market cap and all that good stuff that he likes to talk about. And if you liked the video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in our Discord community. The link is in the description below. So talk to you guys next week. Peace.